Everybody, two conversations this week, bringing together tradition, recognizing the past and the innovation of the future. That tradition versus innovation often isn't intended to be a conflict or a source of tension, like an in-your-face conflict, like it was with me, or sometimes, as it was this week, tension pulling people in opposite directions. And it reminded me of a story. Two colleagues of mine who one represented tradition. His name was Al, and um, and Susan, who represented the expertise, and I was the innovation. And Susan turned out to be that person we needed, and it was Al, who, as I mentioned last week, talking about that father figure in the company. You never know who that person might be. Sometimes it's the founder, sometimes it's one of those father figures who's been there a long time and understands that tradition. You might call him the old guard. Well, Al was not an old guard. He was a very kind person to me, and he saw something in that tension I was creating with people as this person who saw something new we could do, really founded on the tradition, but it was different. It was different for people, and I wasn't respecting the tradition or those people very much who represented the tradition. And Al took me aside one day on a Tuesday afternoon, and he just tapped me on the shoulder and asked if he could talk to me in private. So we stepped in a small conference room, and he reflected with me and shared that tension that he saw in my behavior and how other people were responding to it in ways that I didn't really recognize in the youth of my experience and my ambition for innovation and the next big thing. And so he reminded me of it, and then he said, "I've got an idea for you, Bob, if you're open to it." And what Al did was invite Susan and I into a conversation that he had coordinated with her in advance of that side by side, that one-on-one, if you will, take me aside conversation. He said, "Susan is willing to work with us, and if you want, we'll work together, and you and I will work together with her. She's going to step away from the company. She found a dream job. Nothing against this company, but she gave 6 weeks notice. And if you're open to it, Bob, she'll be the thread who'll tie it together. She'll teach you this expertise of working with one of our traditional clients so you can not only understand the tradition, but really learn it. And she'll teach you that book, if you will, of the process of how we've worked with this client for well over a decade." And I said thank you, first of all, because it was a very generous thing to do. So I was very grateful for it. And I couldn't believe it when it came together 6 weeks later. Susan literally did teach me this book and then gave it to me. And it's one of those often overlooked kind of a triad conversations that happens or could happen, and maybe doesn't happen in the companies, that creates more of that tension and leaves that hidden value within the company and the hidden value and talent among people. And what Susan and Al did with me was help me to get more involved and respect and honor the tradition while getting on with the next thing and the innovation, and brought it together in a way that I never imagined was possible without me having to act like a bull in a china shop. And whether you feel like you're that person who's breaking a lot of things every time you walk into the room, and people kind of looking to protect their things when you do, that's maybe one of those strategies you can use to bring it together. It isn't all about you. You don't have to take on the world. And as Al taught me, you don't have to break things anymore. As a matter of fact, you can build a lot of great things together with people who you didn't expect can be a part of that conversation. So the way to think about it or remember it is tying it together, TIY. The tradition, for the T, the I represents innovation, and the expertise represents the E. And Al was that tradition, I was the innovation, and Susan was the expertise that tied it all together to recognize the foundation of what we've established with the tradition and the future of what's next and what's possible and what our customers knew we could do better than we could do. So tying it together is the theme. Hope some inspiration for you. Find that one person who may be either looking at you and wondering if they can get involved, or maybe there's another person you should get to know who can help you and somebody else get this done, to tie it all together. So more father figures, more future value. Talk to you next week. Thanks.